Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Blue Clouds Media Sports. And as it is the first game of the ongoing FIFA World Cup, Qatar 2022, it's about to kick off. We're going to start with the main preview, the first game, which will be Brazil and Croatia. Statistics and the build up to the game. We'll be talking about Luka Modric, Neymar, Thiago Silva. Players that are linked with Chelsea and some other wonderful players that we will be talking about. I have my co-host here, Steven, who will be joining me here in a minute. And also Ryan will join us later on in the show if we stay over here for quite a bit. Yeah. But then I don't know how you are enjoying your World Cup. The quarterfinal stage, the knockout stage is right here. And I know all fans are ready. Steven, welcome to the stream, guy. Where's Steven?
How you doing?
You doing all right? Yeah, I'm doing great. We can't wait for the first quarterfinal stage of the first quarterfinal game to kick off. How you liking it, Steven?
It's weird because it's the first time all tournament where we've had no games for a couple of days because it's been games every day until these last 2 days. So it's weird, and just sat there going, I actually can't wait till we're back underway. Because obviously there's no club football. It's all the lower league stuff at the moment. So it's just waiting for the World Cup to be back.
Absolutely. I know there are certain players that Chelsea has been linked with those players. There's some interest over here, but we'll be looking at the number of chances and created by individual goals scored by Croatia. Croatia have scored 5 goals, which is Steven. Are they 6 in the tournament? I'm not sure if that's what is written over there. 6, right?
So Croatia has scored 5 goals in the tournament, which ranks joint 6th for the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Brazil scored 7, which is a joint 4th most.
So looking at these statistics, still Croatia has got a lot of goals in them, and also, Brazil 7 goals, which is not bad at all. But what are we looking at? How do Croatia stop Neymar? How do Luka Modric and his guys, that young defender that he's been linked with Chelsea, is he a guy that Chelsea really have to be looking out for in terms of the Croatia defense?
I think the struggle is going to be that obviously Croatia played the extra 30 minutes. They played extra time, whereas Brazil obviously only played 90 minutes. So that 30 minutes, plus we've seen how much added time gets added at the end of each half in this tournament as well. So it's actually more than just 30 minutes in reality. And you don't know how that's going to affect them. Typically, you're going to struggle, especially when you've only had a couple days break. So I think that's going to be a big problem.
And if you're looking at defensive-wise, Croatia have considered 2 goals, and then Brazil have considered 2 goals at the same time. So it looks like there's not much of a difference between these 2 teams. The only thing I haven't seen is how many players have scored in the Croatia team? Is it the same kind of players, or is it different? So many different players scoring for Croatia national team, just like we see from England. England have had almost about 8 different players scoring for the team, so it's like an all-round team. Where compared to other teams like France, you have maybe Mbappe alone getting all the goals for France, or maybe we're talking about maybe Richarlison is the talisman alone, or maybe you have Vinicius Junior on the left-hand side, or Neymar getting the goals for one specific team. But the Croatia team, you could tell that all around everyone is scoring. What do you think? How should Croatia set themselves up to be able to stop Brazil, and can they win against Brazil this time?
I think it's going to be difficult. Obviously, there's the factor, like I said, of having played extra time compared to Brazil. Right. And there's also the fact of, you look at Brazil, right? They only lost to Cameroon. They beat South Korea in the last game 4-1. But they looked comfortable, whether that's just a fact of like South Korea weren't like to their level. I don't know, but to score as many goals as they did in that first half, and then they could have took it easy. Like it was 2-0 within a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
So all their goals came in the first half. So that tells you all you really need to know. Like this is going to be a problem. If Croatia go do anything, they have to make sure that they get them early, because throughout the duration of the game, factor in the extra time factor that they'd gone through, they're obviously going to have tied legs from an earlier stage in the game.
Well, we're looking at the player Richarlison profile from Tottenham. We know what he can do. Richarlison has averaged a goal every 54.5 minutes for Brazil in 2022, scoring 4 more goals, 10 than any other Brazilian player this year so far. Neymar is the one with just 6. Is he going to be that dangerous against Croatia? As we know, that terrible defender, the young defender that Chelsea is looking out for. How can he stop Richarlison?
I think it's harsh to say terrible defender. I mean, he's highly rated and so
terrifying. I meant to use terrifying. Terrifying defender. That's what that.
Still early for you, right?
Yeah, still early. Anyway.
Yeah. I think the problem is it's not just Richarlison. Like, obviously, you got the big name in Neymar as well, but also Vinicius Jr. What they got to do with Vinicius? There's only so much you can do with these 3 players.
Right.
They're bound to have the chances. It's more a case of, are Brazil going to actually be able to finish and take those chances? Because, like I sent to you, Brazil have created 15 big chances this tournament, which is the second most all tournament. But of those big chances, they've missed 12. So they've only scored 3 of their big chances. And they've scored, I think it's, 4 goals in the last game.
Right.
2 in the first game against Serbia, 6, and then 1 against Switzerland. So they got 3 goals in their first 2 games, 2-0 and 1-0 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Lost 1-0 to Cameroon and 1-4-1 against South Korea. So they've scored 7 goals. So they've scored 7 goals, but only 3 of those are big chances.
Yeah. You good, Steven?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Well, I think we have the lineup is already the lineup of both teams are out, and Croatia has put up. I think they're going with the I think 4-3-3 formation, which they have Sosa. I don't know some of the players I can't even mention.
Josip Juranovic, Dejan Lovren, Josko Vardiol. That's the one that Chelsea obviously looking at. Borna Souza, he's somebody that Chelsea have been looking at.
Number 20.
Who? Vardiol. Yeah, number 20, yeah.
Number 20, yeah. Vardiol, okay. See, I was going to say the Gene, but I was like, how do I say this guy's name?
Yeah, Vardiol. So from what I've heard, it's actually Vardiol, from what I've heard, yeah.
Is that because I think that's the Croatian pronunciation, right? Vardiol. But if you want to say it in the English way, maybe. All right, we have a Kovacic, also Brozovic in the midfield, and Luka Modric that complement the midfield. Then attacking, we have Perisic on the left-hand side. I think Kramaric, and then Pasalic. Those names are quite familiar.
So, just a couple quick things. So, I'm not sure if you remember, it was a little while ago, Chelsea were actually interested in Borna Souza as a potential left-back option. And Mario Pasalic, obviously, he didn't play much for Chelsea. I think he might have played, 1 or 2 games maybe. But he was actually previously at Chelsea. So you've got the fact of Vardy were interested in. Souza, we'd previously been interested. And obviously, we know he ended up with Cucurella. And then, obviously, Kovacic as well. And then Pasalic, the former Chelsea.
You want to take us through the Brazilian lineup? I already
the Brazil lineup.
Yeah. If it.
So they've stuck with Alisson in goal. He's played all the games except from the last group stage game. Eder Militao, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, and Danilo.
Yeah.
Lucas Paqueta, Encase Miro, Rafinha, Vinicius Jr., and Neymar, and then Richarlison.
Yeah. I think they're playing one up top. What do you
Um,
what do
they
you make of?
might be.
Yeah, Richarlison's up top. I think they're playing a 4-2-3-1 with just
Yeah, that's what the
Richarlison.
graphic I've got says, but you never know until you're obviously in the game. So we'll find out.
What do you make of these two specific players, Lucas Paqueta and Rafinha? How have they failed so far in this tournament?
Um, honestly, Paqueta, he didn't play against Cameroon, but I don't know if he started the first two group games.
Yeah.
Um, so he started the second one. I'm just having to quickly double check because I know he played, but I can't remember if he started. Yeah, so he started both the first two group games, missed the third one because they were resting players because they were fruit. Um, but from what I've seen, I actually am like impressed with his performances. Obviously, new signing at West Ham as well, so we see him in
Yeah.
the Premier League, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think he's been impressive, at least from what I've seen. I mean, if I look deeper into it, he's averaging just under 2 key passes a game. So, what the definition of that is, if I remember rightly, is essentially you've created a chance, but the person you've given the ball to has a shot and it's not on target.
That's
So,
but
he's averaging just under 2 per game on that.
That's right. Let me acknowledge everyone that is watching us, wherever you're watching us from. If it's the first time watching us, do us a favor, just subscribe to the channel. Don't forget bottom left corner below. Keep your bell notification icon so anytime we go live or anything, you wouldn't miss an update from us. Or anytime we upload any video. As usual, my name is Nizion and my co-host is Steven, um, a Chelsea fan who is based in the UK. So we're streaming live, build up to the game. We're talking about Steven, the next player we're going to concentrate on Thiago Silva, Marquinhos. Danilo, I'm not going to say much about him because this is going to be his last tournament with Brazil. But then Marquinhos and Thiago Silva. Brazil have had one of the best defense in the tournament so far. How has Thiago Silva fit? How has it been so good at his age? Age 37, isn't it? If I should be right. That's on the point of correction. Age 37.
He's 38. He was 38 in September.
And he's still playing in this high level football. You know, playing with Chelsea, he doesn't give nothing away. With Thiago Silva, do you think that this is the time for him to deliver the World Cup trophy to Brazil? It's been over 15 years since they won that trophy.
I mean, the guy's just not a human, honestly. To be still playing to the level he's playing at the age of 38 as a defender.
Right.
Like, okay, you see goalkeepers might play into their 40s or whatnot, but a centre back playing to the elite level at 38 is ridiculous, honestly. As much as I'm an England fan,
Right.
obviously being from England, if England don't win it, I do hope that he does it. Like, we know, obviously, being 38 is his last chance now. I honestly hope that if it's not England, it's got to be Brazil. But no, definitely they've got the chance of doing it. I mean, if you look at the draw, obviously they play Netherlands or Argentina next. It's not going to be an easy game, but the talent that Brazil have, I don't like. It's going to be an interesting game, but I think they could get to the final quite easily.
And then one thing that I want us to talk about before we end the stream, the celebration from Brazil. I know you might have your own opinion. I might have my own opinion. People might not understand the celebration from Brazil. I want to ask you first before I come in, and then we can argue about it. In your opinion, does a celebration from Brazil disrespectful to South Korea or North Korea?
South.
South Korea.
Yeah. I mean, there's a point where it gets disrespectful. There is a point. Like, okay, like first one, like sure, what not, but second and third, fourth, like at what point are you gonna look at it as okay, you're like kind of being disrespectful at this point. Like you're 4
Right.
0 up, you're still doing it. Like there's no need for it. Like okay, I get it to a degree, but it's also unnecessary as well. Like I can kind of see both sides, but to me, I was like, okay, like at 1-0, it is what it is. And then after a while, I was like, no, they're just like, I kind of see it as a disrespect thing at this point. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but
Yeah, I kind of
that was it.
agree. I kind of agree with you one way or the other that they overdid the celebration to the extent that they run all the way to the Tite, right? The coach to even celebrate,
Something like
did
that,
a
yeah.
celebration with him. I mean, if it was 1-2 celebration, that should be enough. But then they did too many of those celebrations, one by the touchline, and then walk all the way about 15 yards away from the touchline and did another celebration in there. It's like, what is it? We know if the only people that are really, really criticizing them will say, okay, then they don't know the Brazilian culture. As Titis came up and said he's not going to apologize to anyone with his players celebrating for a goal. We understand Brazilians, we all know for their samba, their celebrations, and I saw that. I watched that US 94 when Romario Bebeto, when the then Ronaldo was on the bench, and they do that baby celebration. I'm sure you've watched those celebrations a couple times, and then I agree whatever that they did, but I think they went overboard with it. But people have to understand this is one of the biggest festival, one of the biggest competition that comes in every 4 years. These celebrations will leave a mark on this competition forever. Just like, see, I was very young when I watched US 94. I was very young when I watched Italian 90, when Roger Miller did that celebration with his arm like that, with his right hand down there, doing that African dance against Argentina. That celebration have been there till now. So I don't understand some other countries going against the Brazilians celebrating a goal. If it's that easy to score a goal, why did North Korea or South Korea, I can't even get it anymore, North Korea or South Korea, whatever they are, why didn't they score any goals so they can also celebrate? I saw Ghana score one goal against Portugal, and one of the striker that scored that goal celebrated the same way Cristiano Ronaldo did his celebration. That celebration will be there forever. It's not going away. So why can't we leave memory in competitions that comes in every 4 years? And I don't see any problem with it, Steven. I don't see any problem with it.
I mean, it is what I'm saying. Like, I get it, but then it gets to a point where you're overdoing it and there's no need for it. So, like, the whole running over to a manager thing, okay, in certain circumstances, I get it. But wasn't that like the second or third goal? And you're running over to the manager and then getting the manager to join in. It's like, is that really needed? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Okay, at this moment, let me know if you're watching us, wherever you're watching us from. Let us know your prediction, your contribution towards the game, which will be kicked off in the next 10 minutes. Let us know what you think. Prediction, Steven, let's go with the prediction. Prediction. Would I say prediction lineup? The scoring lineup, whatever. Yeah, prediction. What do you think? Number of goals. Who scores first? Let's go with who scores
Ooh.
first. Who do you think is going to score first? Pull the trigger first.
I'm gonna say Brazil. I'm gonna say I think it'd be 2-0. 2-0? Yeah, I'll stick with 2-0.
You stick the 2-0.
And yeah, I was considering saying 2-1, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I think it will probably end up being 2-0.
Yeah.
And you know, let's go with Richarlison. He's the informed man this year for Brazil. Let's stick with Richarlison.
Okay. Well, I'm going for Croatia to pull the trigger first, but it's going to be a 2-1 nil. Very, very difficult game for Brazil. because matter of fact that we know Richarlison and Neymar and all those players, Neymar hasn't really played very well in this tournament. He hasn't had the best of tournament so far, but then he's been the talisman for Brazil. Richarlison is getting all the goals, but I see either Pulisic, that's the Pasalic. Sorry, Pasalic. Either Pasalic is getting the first goal for Croatia, but Brazil will win the goal. Will win the game 2-1. Guys, if you're watching, send your prediction in the comment. Let us know what you think, how the game is going to end, so we can read it for you. And also, do not forget, we got 34 of us watching. We got only 2 or 3 likes. Come on, man. You guys can do better. You want to stick with us, you want to be a guest, you want to be on our platform. Also, you can message me. You can follow me on Blue Clouds Media. We can find out some Blue Clouds Media on Twitter, on all our socials. I'm going to put it right there very soon, but you can send me a message or a comment, and then I'll get you in if you know your football, if you love your football. Send us a like. We got 29 people watching us at this moment. We could do better. We can get 29 likes. I appreciate when someone is doing something. Because if I'm watching you talking football and you like it, I really appreciate it. I don't have to like it, because I will appreciate your effort in putting into football. So yeah, I said 2-1. Steven said 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0. I don't think it'd necessarily be comfortable, despite obviously, like I said earlier, the factor of the extra time for Croatia and whatnot. I don't think it'd be comfortable by any means, because Croatia is still a strong team. Right. I just think the factor of the extra time would be more of a later stage thing. I don't think it'd be easy, because I think certainly for the first half, Croatia are going to make it difficult.
All right, guys, we got to go. Enjoy your game. Do not forget, Leo Desperados, hang on to hope, and we'll see you we'll see you again before the next game kickoff. We'll bring another preview. So stick with us. Keep your bell notification icon active as usual, so you don't miss anything from Blue Clouds Media Sports. Catch you again. Bye-bye.